Hey, how are you guys doing? Wanted to send out another video to you guys. Like I said, I think it's more personal than doing an email, and there's like 50 million emails going back and forth right now. So I feel like this is just a better way to communicate and get the information out versus me just typing up another email that everybody has to read. So first thing I want to do is pray, just like I did in the other video, and then we'll kind of jump in to some of the updates of what we got going on. Dear Lord, I just thank you for this day. I thank you for the ability to remain open and stay in business, Lord. I ask that you just continue to give us wisdom and discernment as we grow and as we go through this new unprecedented time in our country. In your name I pray, amen. Okay, first thing, just jumping in, schedules. I wanted to talk about schedules real quick. I know a lot of us have, some of our stores have larger staffs, and because we were used to a certain volume and that volume's been cut down. So, but there are other stores that have a need for help in those stores. So particularly JM1, JM7, and JM10 right now, I know are a little understaffed. So if you have team members that are on your teams that were getting hours and maybe those hours have been reduced, even if it's by 10 hours a week or anything like that, please reach out to those stores and those general managers. Reach out to Ashley, Mike, and Sarah, and just say, hey, I can maybe throw this person over there and they can maybe pick up some hours at your store, because we don't want to lose people if we don't have to. If we have valued team members and we can find a way for them to get hours within our company, we need to be able to do that through this time. So if you have people that were good, that were performing well in your stores, that they were getting hours and you had to cut those hours back some, so some stores I think off the top of my head would be Greenbrier or would be potentially Hampton, those stores, that had these higher volumes that were kind of now moving down a little bit. If you have extra people on your teams, or even Northampton, I think of, if you have extra people on your team that you need to get hours to, please find a way for them to get hours. We don't want to lose people if we don't have to. That's really important right now. So we want to do our best to keep people on our teams if we can. Kind of like what Ryan sent out earlier, a lot of people are getting, they've been laid off work, unfortunately. So if we have room to bring people onto our teams in certain stores as well that are understaffed, I would refresh your talent briefs and see if you're getting any applications right now. I think that's really important. Again, kind of doing our part to help the unemployment rate in the United States is important. I think that we have to have a holistic view on this, and what we can do in our communities to make an impact is really going to matter long term. So if you can refresh your talent briefs and maybe you're going to get some applications in and you can find a way to help out there within the community, that would be beneficial. So if you have a need for staffing in your stores, reach out to other GMs as well. So don't just wait for them to reach out to you. Reach out to them and see if there's anybody that they can transfer over, and refresh your talent briefs and repost those ads. I think right now it would be, a lot of people would be very shocked to see that we're still hiring, and so we want to continue to go down that path. Next thing I want to talk about is catering opportunities. I'm over here at Greenbrier, and if you see back in the background right here, there's Megan and Alyssa and Gerald. But they're doing a catering right now for Sam's Club. It was a 30-box catering, so it was about an $1,800 order. So I think it's really important to reach out to these big box stores. Reach out to Walmart, Harris Teeter, Kroger, Sam's Club, BJ's, Costco, Target Supercenters, anywhere that has a grocery store attached to it. You need to reach out to those places that are close to you, because those places are swamped right now. Their team members are working around the clock. They're trying to stay staffed. I drove by a butcher shop the other day here in Greenbrier, and there was a line out the door. So there are people out, and there are people shopping, and they're shopping in these big retailers. And so those team members, those staffs are working a ton. And so the general managers are looking for ways to provide for them. And just letting those people know, letting Sam's Club know, letting Kroger know, like, hey, we're open and we're willing to work with you. We're willing to get food over to you guys, and we're practicing safe food practices, and we're doing everything we can do, is a huge thing. So please make sure to reach out to those places. I think there's a huge opportunity to do that. And I also believe that these big box stores understand that they're in a situation where they can help other local smaller businesses be able to continue to maintain staying open and be in business. So I think it's very, very important for us to reach out and make those connections. And with the lower volume in our stores, it gives you guys the opportunity as a general manager. Maybe you can get out of the store and go make those connections in person. So I would really encourage you guys to do that today, tomorrow, every single day. Just constantly get out there and make those connections for those big box stores. I want to talk about dining room setups. We want to keep our dining rooms as set up as much as possible because it gives the impression that we're open for business and lets people know, like, hey, come in, we're going to make it happen. You know, if we're tearing down our dining room and bunching our chairs up and all those kinds of stuff and start putting a ton of signs up, it really doesn't give that impression, and people may just walk by our stores or walk by our restaurants. So keep your dining rooms as set up as much as possible to give that impression that we're open for business. Curbside delivery, we do not want to go to curbside delivery until we absolutely have to. Again, just going to the impression, if we're only doing curbside delivery, it's going to deter people, or if people see us doing curbside delivery, it's going to deter people from coming into the restaurant, which could cut into our sales even more. So we don't want to go to curbside delivery unless we absolutely have to go to curbside delivery. That's really important. Next thing I want to talk about is expressing gratitude to our customers. You know, we've said this through a couple emails and stuff like that, and I think I said it on the other video. But one thing that I want to get across is that simply just saying thank you right now really isn't enough. You know, these are the kinds of phrases we want to use. We appreciate your business. Thank you for trusting us with your business. Thank you for supporting us during this time. We're grateful for your business. You know, it's really important to understand that every single customer who's coming in is intentionally making a decision to come to our restaurant right now. You know, it's not a secondary thought, it's a primary thought of like, hey, I'm going to go to Jersey Mike's today. I'm going to go get a sub today. And we have to understand that. So please make sure that you're really expressing gratitude towards your customers. Don't just say thank you. Make sure that you let them know that we appreciate them supporting us, because ultimately, without their support right now, we'd be in a very, very difficult situation. And other restaurants are in those situations, but we're not. And we have to be thankful for that. If you can write notes on takeout bags, you know, making sure you're thanking them on the takeout bags, the to-go bags. I think that would be a great extra step that you can take to really show that appreciation. Make sure you're communicating to your team members the correct way to address customers as well. I've seen some team members maybe be a little bit, I don't want to say negative, but just kind of, it's more abrasive language, and we want to make sure that we're being as welcoming and as friendly as possible. You know, I would say notifying people that we're only doing takeout orders at the register would be the go-to method. You know, whenever they walk up to the slicer, the first thing you say to them is like, hey, we're only doing takeout. It's kind of like a boom in your face. You know what I'm saying? So if the way I would like it to happen is we take their order, they get down, they get to the register person just calmly says like, hey, just so you know, this is going to be takeout today. We're not doing dine-in. And most customers already know that, but just again, I think that it's better to be on the back end, and the first thing in their face is to tell them, hey, this is takeout only. You know, it's just a lot to throw at them at once. So I would say that'd be the great way to do it, and make sure you have your most personable, friendliest person on the register. I think that's super important to have that little extra touch there at the end. So make sure that you're getting your best personalities on the register and being able to show that gratitude and thankfulness to everybody. And then help your team understand the value of customers. I know we talk about this a lot, but they need to understand it now more than ever, how valued our customers are and how much we appreciate them coming into our store. The last couple things I want to say is we need to embrace the reality of the situation. You know, I'm remaining optimistic, but we need to be prepared for this to kind of be the new normal for a while. I think that we're going to be through it sooner than we think, but on the same end, you know, this thing is evolving every single day. So what I mean by embrace the reality is find new ways to grow your sales. Be creative in how we market our stores. You know, we're really blessed that it does not seem like they're going to mandate us closing. You know, the reality is right now, a lot of families are struggling to get protein or get meats at grocery stores. So keeping restaurants open as much as they can to be able to have a food chain supply is crucial. So I don't really foresee us being closed, and so we're blessed and fortunate to be in a situation where a large part of our business was already takeout, online, and carry out orders. You know, so we're blessed to be able to be positioned where we can continue to go down those roads and use those mediums. So because of that, we have to stay positive, and we have to continue down those roads. But like I said, we need to embrace the reality of the situation that we're in and understand that maybe this is the new way that we're going to be running our restaurants for a while. So get creative, make sure that we're doing everything we can do to stay clean and keep the restaurants disinfected. But understand that this is a new opportunity. We're entering a new phase right now, and we could be in this phase for 1, 2, 3 weeks. We could be in it for 2 months. We don't know, but we have to embrace the reality of the situation and do our best to manage what we can manage and control what we can control. And the last thing I really want to talk about is providing stability. I've talked about this before, but we need to continue to provide stability for our teams, provide stability for our families, and also provide stability for our communities. I think that's one of the pieces that people aren't really grasping or don't really understand. We are still open, and we're able to facilitate a large portion of our business. I think of other restaurants. I think of like restaurants like Outback or like Carrabba's, or even local restaurants that have bars and alcohol sales. Those places, they can't sell alcohol anymore. No one's going into Buffalo Wild Wings and getting a beer and drinking and eating wings. It's just they can't do that right now. So a lot of those restaurants are really hurting, and a large portion of their business has been cut. There are some restaurants that are down 95% in sales. So we are not down that far, which is a huge blessing. And because of that, we have to remain open, and we have to keep moving forward. It's almost our responsibility to continue to stimulate the economy. A lot of places have laid people off, and we need to try our best to not do that. So not only do we need to provide stability for our teams and our company, but we have to provide stability for our communities. There are families that have needs. There are families that are looking for food, and so if we're closing early or anything like that, it's going to be one less supply chain that they're not going to be able to get things that they need. So we have to continue to stay open, and we have to continue to stimulate the economy where we can. The economy is down, but it doesn't mean that there's not resources out there. Big box stores are still open. Healthcare professionals are still working around the clock. Law enforcement's still out there. Navy. We're very fortunate to be in an area where people are still going to work and people are still getting paid. People are working remotely. So there are resources out there. So the service industry is what's hurting the most. So the restaurant industry, travel, tourism, that's getting hit really hard. And we're in that industry, but we have to understand that we're fortunate to be able to function a large part of our business and kind of move forward with that. We have to continue to have positive attitudes, keep preaching positivity, keep using positive language, and keep going down that path. We can affect and we can impact people. We say attitude's contagious, so make sure it's worth catching, and we say that to our team members, but we have to embody that as leaders more now than ever. So thank you guys so much for everything you're doing. If you guys have any questions, please call me. You can email me. You can call Ryan or email him, and we'll kind of go forward and kind of move through this together. Like I said, we don't know how long this is going to be. I'm believing it's going to be shorter than it's going to be longer, but we have to continue to press forward together as a team. I think about teamwork being one of our core values more than ever. So sharing team members and making sure that we're communicating to each other is really important, and making sure we're remaining positive is super important. So thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.